Welcome to Bookwood. Hi, I'm glad you chose to spend some time with me. Today I'm presenting you an unusual type of vlog, one that is dedicated to only one book, and that is Looking for a Group by Alexis Hall. Maybe you saw my reading journal and TBR setup video, but if you don't, this is a book that I saw on Louise's channel Foxes and Fairy Tales. She talked about this book and I immediately wanted to add it to my wanting to read list, since it is a book that is set in an MMO. I do play MMO myself, and the only thing that maybe could have stopped me from reading this book is that it is a romance, and romance is not my cup of tea. But in this male, yes, we can say that, romance, the main character and his love interest meet each other in this MMO world. And that was something that immediately touched a very sweet memory for me, because my husband and we met also in an MMO world. I will try to not make a very spoilery review, but it might still happen. So if you are easily spoiled, please come back after you read the book to have some explanation on all the technical terms. I say that because when Louise made her review video for this book, she said that she had some difficulty getting into it and also some difficulty understanding the whole video game setting. And when I started reading this book, I understood why she said that. We start off with a guild application form that is like sending your curriculum for a job, in which, first of all, the guild says who they are, and then the candidate has to fill out a few questions. This is quite typical for a guild application, but what is a guild? Let me start by telling you what is an MMO, because the game Heroes of Legends that is played in this book is an MMO. This means mass multiplayer online, a game played on the internet with a lot of other people. Just not like dividing your Mario Kart screen in 2 or 4 players. No, a lot of players. And most MMOs are also role-playing games. A guild in an MMO is a group of players that chooses to play together, so they have a communal chat, and often they meet quite spontaneously, and the group forms with a lot of people, or like we are 30, 40 people that feel around the same objectives or the same way of playing. And to get in, you have to answer some questions, because this gives the guild members an idea if you would be a person that would fit in, just like when you apply for a job. But before we can apply for a guild, we need a character, and that's what we are going to do now. Create a character, just as our main character Drew and his love interest Solas or Kit do at some point in the book to play together. This is editing me hopping in. I noticed I forgot to explain in my introduction what I mean with the terms WoW and Final Fantasy that are coming up. Heroes of Legends, I think it was called, is meant to be completely fictional, but it is clear to a lot of people that this book is based on an MMO called World of Warcraft by a company called Blizzard. I played this game myself from around 2006 to 2014, which is a long time. And after that, I switched to another MMO called Final Fantasy XIV Online. And I will use both games to explain aspects of the game in the book. What you see here is the loading and login screen. It's sped up, so what you hear is not the music from the game. In WoW you can create several characters if you want to try out different roles or classes. In Final Fantasy, one character can learn all of them. The character that you see on the screen is my main character. This is the one I play the most. Let's create a reroll to show how character creating works. A reroll is a second character. First you choose a race and a gender, and there are no rules for that. Many male players play a female character. I picked a human or a healer, and I picked a female. One of the reasons to pick a female is that the clothes are often a lot nicer. Next is adjusting the physical traits of your characters. There are many options, and these do differ from game to game. The clothing style is something you adjust in-game, often when your character is on the highest level. It takes a while, and I try to show you how many options there are in Final Fantasy. These traits can always be changed during the game. This is an option that you have to pay for. MMOs are games for which you pay a monthly subscription. Final Fantasy now offers you to play the game for free up to level 70, and if you like it, you buy the game and start also the monthly subscription. There are many updates to the game, but we will talk about that later. The free version has limits, like fewer races to choose from, but the game itself stays the same. Let's take benefit of the time that the creating of the character takes to already talk about a choice that I will have to make later on, and that is the role and the class I'm going to play. There are three main roles that come back in almost every MMO, and they define the way you're going to play when you play with another group of players. The tank is a character that will keep the attention of the enemy focused on him, and that will take all or most of the damage that this enemy is giving to the group. A healer is a player who will use magic spells to restore health points to the tank or the group, and it's also able to cast away some debuffs that the boss may give you. Debuffs are damage over time spells that the enemy will use to slowly kill off your group of heroes. Then there is the DPS, or the damage per second group. Those are players that will focus on getting as many health points of the boss's life bar as possible in the most short possible time. There are two types of DPS, and there is the ranged, or the casters, the ones who use magic like fireballs, and then there is the melee. Those are playing very close up to the enemy, close to the tank, and they will use things like swords, daggers, or even their fists. Now that we're talking about damage, it is maybe also a good moment to mention two other terms that the book uses, and those are dots and hots, or damage over time or healing over time. Both are cast by or the DPS or the healer, and they offer damage or healing like the boss does to us, but then over a certain period of time. In Final Fantasy, we don't often use buffs. This is something that is very typical of WoW, and these are spells that you cast on yourself or on other players that enhance your abilities for a longer period of time. I also have to pick a voice for my character. I always listen to all the options before picking one. That avoids having strange surprises. It's time to save the trace of my character and to add in some role-playing elements like a birthday and a god or goddess to worship. These can be picked at random if you don't want to role-play because they don't affect the game itself. Here we pick the role and the class. I picked a DPS and an Arcanist. The game is hosted over several servers and each server is divided in different worlds. The last step is giving your character a name. I used the random name generator, but you can also choose your own name. The random name generator helps to find a name that is more close to the race you picked. I picked a name and decided to give this character the same last name as my main character, which connects my characters together and links them back to me. Now that we have a character, we can talk about what's following the application form in the book. And that is when different guild members chat about Drew's application to see if this player could fit into their group of players or not. We will see that this discussion is talked over and written in the same way as a chat. I would say a guild chat, but it's not the guild chat, it is a more general chat. I will put an image here, and normally you will see in this text box there are appearing different messages, like messages from the game to you. You entered this zone, for example, or you gained this item and added to your bags. But also in the faded blue you have an example of the guild chat, which is only available to the people who are members of the guild, and it can be talk about the game, but there may also be more personal conversations going on. In the more darker blue on this image, you see what's called a group chat or a party chat. It is between the members that grouped together. This means that they play with this amount of players. This can be people from your guild, or people that you are friends with out of the guild, or sometimes also just players that group to play a certain instance together. And then you can also see there is some pink chat going on, and the pink chat is what in the book is the whispering. And whispering is when you talk with one precise player. This chat box will also have messages from the say chat, which is people who talk to anyone who is in a certain area around them. That might be used in events, and it's often used in cities to talk with people that you come across. And there is also an orange chat that is a shout channel that is covering the complete map on which you are playing. This is often used to make some promotion for guilds, or to look for players for events like a hunting challenge or things like that, so that people can gather at some point. Also, before we can enter a guild, we need to level up our character. That is what Drew and Kit do. They go level up their characters. And it's difficult to explain what that is. It is gaining experience points And those you get from doing quests. Quests are things that you do for other people in the game, NPCs or non-playable characters that are there just to give you those quests. To make this more visible, I will now insert a little clip in which you can see how that goes, and I will explain along the way what you see. The game has a little tutorial explaining the basic of the game. Leveling up is completing quests, doing things for others called NPCs or non-playable characters. They give you gills, the local currency, experience points, also called XP, and various objects like stuff. That is clothing or weapons that enhance your stats or abilities. We are in the vanilla part of the game. This is a very WoW term. That means the original game as when it came out. That games get patches and extensions. What are adjustments and extra or new content? Patches are included in your version, like a bonus chapter on a website, and expansions have to be bought, like a second volume in a book series. The book uses the term starting zone or area. That's where we are now. The first quests are meant to get to know this city very well, and we will slowly learn where the different places are, like where you can repair your armor, where you can buy new stuff, where you can find different parts of the city and the different factions that are in it. Did you spot the big shiny blue stone in these clips? This is called the Aetherit, and it is the Final Fantasy variant of the Hearthstone in WoW. This is also something that is mentioned in the book. We have in this game a system that we connect ourselves to these blue stones, and we can teleport ourselves from stone to stone. And we can also, like with the Hearthstone, base ourselves in one city and use a spell that brings us right back to that specific city. It's time to go questing. There are different types of quests. Some ask you to speak with someone, to bring objects around, to gather things, and later also they will ask you to kill enemies. And whilst I'm gathering some stuff for a quest, we will see a character hopping in my screen, dressed all in black. That's my husband, and you see how he sends my character a friend request. That is also something that happens in the book. Players that like to play together but that are not in the same guild can be friends and see when they are online, and even have easier to communicate. Here is the blue stone I talked about earlier, and after harmonizing with it so I could use it, let's walk through the city. This is the action house where people can sell and buy several types of stuff. It is very organized, but since I'm very low level, there is not that much for me. This is a random vendor where you can buy stuff or potions. Every vendor has its own type of stuff. And let's use this smaller iterate in the city to find my way to the gate to go for my first quest outside the city. We have to kill some animals that are plaguing the city. You can see that I don't have that much spells yet, but that my weapon is a book. I am some type of a scholar that uses this spell book to summon little creatures like the little blue carbuncle that you can see next to me. And when you're only low level like me, you don't have that many spells, but you will see that this will gradually add up and become a whole lot of spells. This game is an open world. It means that we can walk almost everywhere. Pay attention, we gained enough experience to gain a level, and this is me using the stone back to the city. But we are already back out of it. I cut out some of the content and we are harmonizing with a second one before we go on questing. These type of scenes are called cinematics. They tell a part of the story and in which you just follow along the dialogues. This quest reward has to be chosen. We have several options and you see that I have picked some new type of clothing that I will equip right here, and this is how my abilities get stronger. And this is the moment where I think that I can show you that in Final Fantasy each character can learn all of the different jobs and classes. We also have an in-game postal service. It is run by these little mobs that called mogs, and it can be used by the creators to send stuff to us, but also in between players to send around items or to just communicate. Now that we are exploring everything my character can do, we can also talk about these emotes that we can pick to perform and to show our emotions or how we feel. This is often used in role-playing. And whilst leveling and questing, we also learn some new spells. We can also use the emotes to interact with other players or with other NPCs in the game. And here we gain up to level 10, only 90 others to go. And again, I have earned some new spells. In Final Fantasy we have screens that pop up to explain these spells to us. So we can walk, teleport, or use the chocobo stations to go from one place to another. Later in the game we will also be able to have our own chocobo or flying mount as well. I will open my quest log and we can see that there are different types of quests. These ones with fire around it are for the main story. We have a mini-map in the corner, but we can open a bigger map and we can switch between the different zones in the game. This little menu is a socials menu, and one of the things that we can find there that are not mentioned in the book is a community. Communities regroup players or gamers around a specific value, like maybe LGBTQ QI plus players or people who really want to role play, or sometimes it is only also to learn how to master certain parts of the game. And it seems that the guild I am in with my main character uses this also to recruit members. And with all these detours, we finally arrived at the start of the book, the application to a guild. For me, it's a little bit different because it's a reroll, but basically you will have to fill out a similar form than the one that is at the really start of the book. In French, the book is called Welcome to the Guild instead of Looking for Group, which I think is way much more fitting. And you see me here filling in the only question that we have, and I am just putting in that it's my reroll, and it's my husband that's an officer. That means someone with more access to guild options. That is adding me to the guild, and you can watch in the chat on the left down side that people are welcoming me. Well, there is not that many people online at this time, so there is not lots of them. Our guild has a house, which is something that is quite usual in Final Fantasy, and here I am doing a little tour of our guild house. It is a communal effort, and it is one of our members that is in charge of decorating the house, and I think she's doing a fabulous job. It is not finished yet, but then it is the largest of all possible houses. One of the first things that Drew does with his new guild friends is go and run a dungeon. A dungeon is an instance, is a small part of the game that is copied for each group of players that enters it. And it is often a difficult or a challenge with more difficult enemies that you have to do in a group, but that is part of the storyline, because each game does have a storyline, and it is difficult to explain. But in Final Fantasy, when you go run a dungeon, you need 4 players. 1 is a tank, 1 is a healer, and 2 are from the DPS group. If you do not have the complete group in your guild or in your friends, that because they are doing other things or they are not connected, you can always use the group finding program that is inside the game. So you sign up, you say I want to go do this dungeon, and then the game will automatically match you with other players that complete your group that want to do the same dungeon as you want. Sometimes you end up with very nice and fun co-op players, and sometimes you end up with not so fun players, like that what happens in the first dungeon. We call a player that is not part of the group you start with a pickup player. So in the book, there is a party or a group of 3 players from the guild, and then there is 1 pickup player. And I will, to make a dungeon and the gameplay in it more clear, add in a dungeon when I finish talking. That is also, it's my 3 players from our group, so it's me, my husband, and one of my children. And we have 1 pickup player, and in this case, it is not a DPS, it is the healer. I hope that the clip will make more clear what a dungeon is. As in the previous clips, I will talk over it with a voiceover to explain what is happening. I also, during the whole sequence of all the sequences in the game, I have taken away the original music. So if you hear music, it is most probably music that I put over it to have a background sound. I switched to my main character so I can show you a dungeon that is a little bit more complicated. On this journey with me are my son, who is playing the tank, my husband, who is playing another melee DPS, and a to us unknown healer. You can hear my husband talking. He's raid leading this dungeon since my son has never done this dungeon before. You can see that our group members are listed in the left top corner of the screen. We talk about trash mobs for all the enemies that are along the way in between what we call bosses or the big enemies in the stories. You can see that in the left down corner there are different chats going on, and what you see here is really my screen, the way I see it, and so you can see the spells I'm casting, and you can see how the life of the enemies goes down by the effort of all the players combined. In the book they mention a program on the computer that is called Mumble, that is used for the members of the guild to communicate verbally during the raid. We use Discord for that. There are several other programs like TeamSpeak that can also be used.
Qu'est-ce qu'il a dit?
On dirait oui. Apparently, apparemment. Je vais quand même pas devoir dans chaque donjon expliquer que c'est mon gamin.
Ah, moi je peux pas l'expliquer, c'est trop long à expliquer.
Tu dis tank my son. M-Y-S et un deuxième mot S-O-N.
Ouais, moi j'écris, je sais pas écrire ça.
Every instance, which is a dungeon or a raid, at every zone in the game has its own music, and it is specially composed for the game. There are concerts, classical concerts with music from several or one specific video games.
Techniquement, c'est pas mon fils à mon cœur.
Ouais, mais c'est plus facile à écrire comme ça. À part si tu veux ajouter Steph. Alors c'est S-T-P-H.
Ah non, les sons, c'est un bébé tank et puis c'est tout. Tu aurais dû mettre c'est un bébé tank gay.
Mais dis.
Ouais, mais parce que il faut pouvoir ramasser la manette. Mais putain, ce tank qui ne ramasse rien. Oh là là.
We cross this purple lighting line that indicates that we have entered the lair of the first boss. So this is a more complicated fight than the others that we had before. If you do understand some French, or if you pick up the tone in the conversations, there is a lot of teasing going on, since on the Discord there is only me, my husband and our son. J'aimerais bien qu'on me dispelle.
Oui, voilà, il va te... pourquoi lui il est si bien que toi?
Maybe this is also a good point to tell you about the term aggro that is used in the book. The character of Drew Orkella is a tank, and so he builds up aggro to keep the attention of the boss focused on him. My son here is losing aggro regularly, which means that the boss is directing his attacks straight to the healer or the DPS, which is not a good thing. When in the book they are talking about the health points and the mana points, this is what you can see in the center near the downside of the screen. It's the green bar for me, it's my life points, and the pink bar is my mana points. Mana is a type of energy that I spend to be able to cast the different spells. We won this fight, and I'm going to speed up a little bit the images until I have something interesting and related to the book that I can tell you. That was fast. On the screen you see arriving a red message telling me that I do not have enough mana points to cast this spell. This is what is called out of mana, having no mana points left. The character I play has a switch that led me to cast some spells that will make me regain mana. But not all characters have that, especially in WoW. I remember playing healer in WoW when you had no mana left. You had potions that give you more mana, but often that meant that you had a big problem. Here is a very nice example of what losing aggro means. Yorim has lost the aggro of this one mob who is directing all his anger towards me, but as a caster my armor is not as well fitted, so I will be dead much more early than he would, so my husband came to the rescue. We arrived at the second bus, and I realized I didn't explain the term IOA to you, or area of effect. It is when a player or the boss has a spell or an ability that makes that the damage is spread over a complete area, and sometimes you see appear like these red circles or triangles on the floor. They demark the range of the boss's ability, and if you keep standing in there you will get hurt. The hour of our players in this group, there is not a lot. I have 2 spells or 3 spells like that. Is not that much clear. It is hidden somewhere in all the light effects that are going on.
We are coming near the end of this dungeon, and you will see when the boss is defeated, I honor the healer. It's the only player I can honor, because you cannot honor people with who you grouped without the grouping system of the game. These honors are important to earn mentor status and things like that. And then you see also a second little pop-up screen with the loot that the boss drops. This is the items that the different bosses in the dungeon had on them when we defeated them, and this has to be distributed between the players. I pass on everything because I am double of the level for this dungeon, so it levels out when you enter it, but I don't need this stuff, so I let it for my son and the healer who might need it more than I do.
I think that I have now covered most of the main elements that make an MMO, so that we can now focus on other aspects of the book. The first aspect I want to talk about is the romance, since the book is marketed as a romance. And I will immediately say that I cannot have a lot of opinions about it, because I am not familiar with the whole gender questioning or exploring part of it. I am hetero, and so is my husband, and we met, and I think we had what's called a very classic relationship. But I can touch a little bit on other elements of it. So Drew and Kit meet in the game, and that is not so extraordinary. Like I said, I did so, but in the guild we are playing, there is at least one other couple that met on the game. So it's not something that is very rare. I think that the way Drew and Kit meet is very realistic in the book. The type of talks that we have when players grow more closer, the type of events they participate in together, really feel like the way I met my husband and how we interacted in the game. What to me feels a little bit less realistic is, but then it's needed in the story, is the doubt about the gender of the character of Solas. Since Drew himself plays a female character, and most certainly has to know that in an MMO most of the female characters are played by men, because there are way more men playing MMOs than women do. He should have had as first thought, this could be a man. Also, Solas is keeping very vague about this. Is role-playing a lot his female character, and that is also something that is not very typical. There are role-playing guilds in which this is usual, but in a normal type of guild, people will just talk as themselves instead, as if they were their character. I think also that when people meet on the game and grow closer, they will spend quite some time, and they will discuss more personal things like their gender, for instance. But then in the book we need this confusion for how this romance evolves, and I understand it. It is also not impossible, it is just not likely to happen this way, but that's fine. I also feel that this romance evolves, I think, in a way that to me as a hetero person or straight person feels normal, and it is written in a way that I can imagine how the characters feel, especially Drew, since the focus is on him the most in the first part of the romance. And I really can feel for him and relate for him. And I think that is something that is a strong part of this book. Even if you do not know these feelings, you can very good imagine them. One thing that I find a little bit a pity is that in real life friend group of True, there are two characters. One represents a little bit the more mocking part of the society that is maybe confused also and tries to hide these feelings in mockery. And then the other one feels so unrealistic to me, but it's a girl. She's very necessary. She is the voice of reason. She will really be the one saying, well, it is not that much of a problem, right? You love, or you are in love with the character of this person, so never mind if it is a man or a girl. And she is really into this. She feels almost like reading the beautiful outlined how do I tell this, moral ethics on loving everybody and accepting everybody. And even if it explains the situation very clearly and it brings across very necessary and correct thoughts and ideas, I just wished it would feel less like reading a website on the topic or being introduced in a community of support for this type of questioning. But then I'm waiting that my kids have read the book to see if they feel it the same way. I don't think that in real life they would have a friend like that. And I hope that they read it before my wrap-up, so I can include a little section on their thoughts on this book. But overall, I loved this romance. I was really attached to both characters, and it is such a pity Kit is gay, because he would make an excellent book boyfriend.
In this clip, we're off for a raid, like our characters do so many times in the book. In Final Fantasy, there are three types of raids. There is the type you see here, which is called Défi. It is one big monster that is attacked in a group of 8 people, and it is just this one fight. Or you have a raid that is more like the dungeon that you saw before, but then way more difficult. And then there is the raid in Alliance, which is with 3 groups of 8 people, so 24 players in total. There are different difficulty levels for each of these raids. This is what we call Extreme, which is like the first really more difficult fight that you can encounter. In this group, you see the point of view of my husband, who is a PlayStation player, so you can see the difference in the spells, but also he is a melee player, so you see him closer up to the enemy. There is also me in this group and our friend Zegt Redas, which is from our guild. And speaking of friends, and in the book, some of the people in the guild know each other in IRL, in real life. They visit each other. In December, we will go visit Zegt. He is also a musician, and we are attending one of the concerts from the orchestra he plays in. I will not wait to bring out this video until December, so this will probably be shown in one of my December vlogs. Another difference that you can see between the dungeon that we did before and this raid is that the group of players is way more organized. In a dungeon we can loosely run around and just attack the way we feel to do it, but in a raid the monster has way more difficult techniques and the group must be very organized. Often happens that people who play in pickup, like the other players in this group, They already know the fights. In Final Fantasy you can do these fights to earn special points to buy equipment or experience points for your character. And so this means that most of the people in this group know exactly what to do. It was my first time though, and if you watch closely at some point you will see how I am bumped. Bumped is when the boss uses an attack that pushes you backwards into the blue square that delimitates the combat arena, and which is an instant kill. And if you keep watching, at that moment you can see that one of the healers is sending me a resurrection spell, which means that I am brought back to life with a small amount of health points, and he will heal me after that so that I can carry on this fight. This is something that is talked about also in the book, since Solas is a healer, and that I think it is in the very first dungeon when their pickup player just does whatever and keeps dying, and that he keeps asking for a res or a resurrection, which means brought back to life.
I also wanted to talk a little bit about the questioning and representation of the gamer and the gaming lifestyle. So when we meet Drew, he quits this very hardcore guild, and aside of that, he really has a nicely, typically geekly filled student life with nights at the pub, with board games, rolling plays, film nights, things like that, and a lot of friends. This is quite unrealistic to me, since most hardcore gamers, well, it's to be the first one to have the new instance or new raid down, and so they need to be the best equipped and they need to be the fastest to learn. So they spend a lot of time gaming, and they mostly do nothing else. And I can attest of that because my husband used to be a ranked player, and so I know how many hours he spent on getting that high in the ranking, because yes, the ranking by guild and by player does exist. So to me that is a little bit contradicting, but then he joins this casual guild in which most people will also have a lot of other activities, and quite the same ones, being geeks, playing board games, reading, watching films, being very into fantasy or horror, into role-playing. And so I understand that we need a character that questions himself, because when he leaves this guild, and in my opinion he has all the right to do so, because what happened was very unjust, and it might happen, but I never saw it really happen with my own eyes, but it might. And he had reason to leave it, and we also needed a start to this story. and he will be struggling all the way down the book with the other more casual mentality of this new guild, in which we make way more fun, in which it's not a big problem if we have to try over and over and over again. And he struggles with that, which seems very realistic to me. But also, when he gets in this relationship with Kit, we will come at the point that he spends a lot of time with him inside the game, and then they start to spend a lot of time together outside the game, and we will learn that Kit is quite an introvert person, that he started playing this game because he was left out of everything. He had no friends. He was maybe even a victim of harassment in school, and so he went into this game discovering people with whom he shared a lot of interests and with who he felt fine and accepted, and he made these people his whole world. And this is also very realistic for many MMO players. Their friend group, their almost like family friend group, is a bunch of online players that maybe doesn't even live in the same country as they do. And as a player myself, I can attest that indeed this is the case. Most of our friends are people we met in the game, and we play not because we started playing not because we knew these people. We started playing because it was an interest of ours, and because of the fact that maybe in real life we struggle to build friendships. I am autistic, and it's not always easy in society, but online to me it was way more easy to make a good friends. I had the immensely luck that when I played WoW, I used to have like a family, and I quit playing WoW 10 years ago, and I still have 1 or 2 messages each year of especially one family that was playing together in the same guild to see how I am, which is nice. These people are the age of my parents, by the way. They are not my age. And we have found that friendships with people that we met in the game stay alive way longer, because we tend to have, even in the brighter zones, the same interests. We also do meet up with these people. In the book, when Drew spends all this time with Solas, his in real life friends come in and say like, oh, you're never with us again, why are you leaving us behind to be on this game? You have an addiction, and if it is not you, maybe it is the other player that has an addiction. You need to do other things in life. And Drew really misses his friends, misses this part of his life, and so he tries to invite kids to come over to meet his friends and to spend time with his friends. And there we will clearly see how Kit is way more introverted and has difficulty with everything, that the noise and the type of activities that are going on, but he will try. And this will end to, or lead to a big discussion between both of them at one moment. And this might be maybe a somewhat larger spoiler, but they will have a fight about the fact that when being with Drew's friends, Kit spends his time on his phone, and it will turn out that he's talking with someone that he knows for many years, and that this person really needed him to be there for her because she had this really bad in real life experience. And Kit will answer to Drew, well, I know this person so many years, and your friends, I know them like for a month. I think that this person who needs me now has to come before your friends, because she also is there for me when I feel bad. And this opens a debate on if MMO players are addicted to playing since they play a lot, or if playing an online game and having all kinds of activities with these people that become your very close friends is not another form of being social that is open to people who struggle with the social on other on other ways in real life, maybe because like me they are maybe autistic and have trouble with small talk or with noise or with all those things that society asks from you. And I think this is a very interesting discussion because I have a lot of in real life activities, but I do not have a lot of real close in real life friends. But then my friends are online. And I do play with them, and we play seriously to play the game, but we can also hang out an evening or an afternoon, chatting around, hanging around on Discord, exchanging point of views or just have a good laugh together. And I feel that this is not an addiction, this is just another way to be social. But this is very inherent to MMOs. I think that it is quite different if you only play solo games, like, for example, the Souls-likes or other solo RPGs that you can play, for example, on PlayStation or even on computer. And to show you how social we can be, in the book, there is this evening where they dress up and go run all dungeons just for fun. In Final Fantasy, we have a treasure hunting system that allows to have these fun nights out, and I recorded one. You will have this clip right now, and I have sped it up because we spent at least 2 hours playing. And so you will hear the discords in the background where we are laughing and having fun. But please do not try to understand it because it's highly sped up. It's in French, and but you can hear clearly how much fun we are having. And I hope you will understand with this clip how social a MMO game can be.
My character just arrived at the guild house just in time to be grouped for an evening of treasure hunting. This is my husband handing me a treasure map that I am opening right now, and that gives a spot on one of the maps of the game. In this evening we only do treasure maps of level 100, so they lead us to a very beautiful zone, and we travel to the location where you can find this map. So this is my husband and I using a flying mount that can hold 2 people. Everyone in the group have brought one or several of these maps. They are gathered by players who learned also a job, a skill like herbalist or mining, and they gather them, or we buy them at the auction house where they are offered by people who specialize in gathering them. Once we come to the location, and you will see that in the next little bit, you will see me do that, we click excavating and this will pop up this chest. We open it, monsters pop out and we fight them, and like in the first clip that you saw, just the end of it, we gain the treasure. So here you see me excavating for the chest. You see the chest appears, monsters pop out, we have a fight with them, and that's also where my card adventure will end. So these are very relaxed evenings, and in the background you can hear a very sped up Discord conversation. You can hear that we laugh a lot, that we chat around. We are 3 girls and 4 boys in this group, and it is really a fun time. There are no big strategies to follow, it is just having fun together. We move around on flying mounts. Often we use ones that can hold multiple players. That's more fun. Like here we are with 2 of our friends sharing the same mount. But these cards can be more than just what we just saw. Sometimes, if we're lucky, we have a magic bottle popping out of the chest that transports us to some kind of type of mini game. So each map has its own mini games. This is the one that we are doing tonight. The one who opens the map activates a button in the instance that will make the screens spin around, and that will the combination we get will depend the type of monster we get, which will determine the type of loot we get. So again, these fights are a little bit harder than the ones that we have when we find the chest, but they are still easy enough so that we don't need a big strategy. So we do several of this in one night. Here I show just one that we managed to do completely. So there are, I think, 5 spins of the screens, and if each one will give us something else, as we call that a mini boss, and as a loot or a treasure that we win. I will take this opportunity to explain the loot system. So you just saw a screen pop up for an item that dropped, and we have to pick need, greed or pass. If you need an item, that means that it is very important to you, but in like a raid, a need would be a piece of equipment that is really important to enhance your character's abilities. It is for the character that you play most with, your main character, and it is for the class that you are playing at that moment. The greed is often used as an option for people who want that specific item, but not for the specialty they are playing with. For example, the tank might want this equipment for his healer, or for a character that's a reroll. The pass option, well, it's pretty clear. I think you pass on this item, I don't need it at all. Some guilds, especially on WoW, use the DKP, which is mentioned in the book, so they laugh around about it at the start of it. They don't use it in the guild. This stands for Dragon Kill Points. And even if I never really played in a guild that used them, what I know about it is that you get a certain amount of points by participating in a raid. And then when somebody needs a piece of equipment that falls, you can gift or trade in your DKP for that item. We made it to the last round of this mini game, and as you will see in a second, unfortunately we were unlucky and we were sent out of the dungeon without the final fight. We teleported to another 100 level area where we did another card, and this gave another type of mini game. In this one, the player that activated the card has to pick out 1 out of 2 doors, and or it opens and you go on, or like we had at the second door, it doesn't and you are sent out of the instance. This is a very condensed view on an evening that was about 2 hours, a little bit over that, of playtime together. And I just picked out the moments that showed the different things we've done. And after that, often we hang around and chat a little bit more whilst everybody gets his stuff repaired and sells the things that he got and didn't need. And after that we disconnect, and that's what you will see next.
franchement, qui te fit d'aller comme ça pour tourner sur les ancêtres plus longtemps. Pourquoi pas? J'aime le bon sens. Et non.
Allez, bien, ça va déjà partir et j'ai eu peur, je l'ai compris. Bonne nuit.
In this final little book chat, I wanted to talk to you about my general appreciation of this book. So I think that throughout the previous parts, you got quite an idea about that I feel very positively about this book. I had a lot of fun reading it. I thought it was a good representation of video gaming, of meeting people online, and of the social aspects of it. But overall, even leaving that aside, I really enjoyed this story. I really loved the characters. I was absorbed in it. I think I read it in like 3 days. That's how much I liked it, because I couldn't put it down. And I really recommend this book to people who like a good romance. This romance is young adult, so it means that it's spice free, which is sometimes also nice. It is also very cheerful and very positive orientated. And I think that, it is an interesting and a fun read. And I hope that you will give it a try, that with this video you will understand the more game technically aspects of it, and that you love this book as much as I do. I will leave you, like I said in the start, with a scene of exploring the world that I did with my husband. We are exploring a dungeon that is a big library, and we took the time to go back in it because it holds books that you can read. And I hope that you will enjoy this walk through this now safe library.
To end this video, I want to take you with us. Us is my husband and I, walking through a empty dungeon, just as something we did, the two of us. We tend to, just like Orkella and Solas or Drew and Kit, wander around a lot in this world and go explore it together. And this library is a dungeon, and the game offers the opportunity, once you have finished a dungeon for the first time, to return to it as a visitor. So there are no enemies anymore and you just can walk around. And I thought that you might enjoy this huge library and the stories it holds, because we will come across books that sparkle, and these books can be read. So it's very small stories that fit into the brighter story of this world. And you can see us wandering about, playing around with emojis. You can see that we have our pets with us that are little animals or animated objects that follow you around, like if you would be walking with your dog without a leash. And I have this ferret, I think it's called in English, because I think it looks very fun with my cat character. And I'll take the time to read like this book that we found. It's the first one, to read these little stories. I'm not going to translate them. My husband is a little bit more impatient, so he is trying out spells and combinations of spells for his different classes and roles. He has planted like a exercise pole in the dungeon. And I hope this gives you a relaxing end of the video. You notice that I have blocked off the guild chat. I don't know how many people that are watching this video can read French, but there was some pretty personal stuff, or even maybe some 18 plus joking going around, and so I didn't want to expose that to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it gave you some insight in the MMO world. I hope that it made you maybe understand the book Looking for Group by Alexis Hall more. I did enjoy this book very much, like I said before, and if you are in for a fun romance, then I most certainly recommend this book to you. If you have any more questions about this book, my experience with it, or video gaming, then feel free to leave all those questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them.
See you soon!